We are now reaching the finish line of the reign of the Supermen. We are in part 22. This is Green Lantern issue 46. And as we learned last issue, we saw Hal kind of begin to enter the fray as he was returning from a mission out in space with the Green Lantern Corps. And this one is aptly called Doomsday for Green Lantern. Now, before we even get into talking about the absolutely gorgeous paneling and pages of this book, let's talk about who made it. This is Gerard Jones doing the writing, M.D. Bright doing the pencils, Romero Tangal doing the inks, Albert de Guzman doing the lettering, and Anthony Tolan doing the coloring. In this book, the print date was also October 1993. Oh, this is the type of comic book art that I missed. 93, digital art was sort of starting to become a thing where you can kind of see how they were able to make this look more realistic in that regard. But I mean, going back and looking at traditional pencils, inks, colors, learning body anatomy. Oh, I just look at this and you know it's going down in the remains of Coast City, especially when we see Hal go up against the protective forces that Engine City is trying to throw at him. Beautiful double splash page. Haven't had enough coffee yet. And then, of course, the dialogue. Coast City. It was once my home, my friend's home. Now it's nothing. An engine built on rubble, built on the corpse of people I knew. And one of those corpses might be Carol's. If they think their missiles can keep me out, they're wrong. Nothing can keep me out. Nothing's keeping me from finding the monster who did this. Nothing's keeping my hands from his throat. And we just see how high-powered Hal is. And he goes, he destroyed the robotic forces as if they were nothing. He's coming. We have to stop him. After the Superman got past us, Mongul will never pardon another. And Hal's just not having it. We even start to see a change in his face from the kind of the more lighthearted Hal Jordan that we know. He's not having it, but still, there's a part of him. He goes, my ring found a human heartbeats at the core of this thing. It found people who look like Superman, and one of them was down at the feet of a giant. I picked up the alien's words, trumpeting his name, bragging of what he'd done, happy to have slaughtered my city, my past, my friends. He's the one I want, and nothing's going to keep me from him. Nothing to keep me from Mongul. Again, this page did not need to go that hard. I mean, yes, the foreground that we're supposed to be paying attention to, phenomenal. But let's look at the back. A lot of older comics and modern comics too would have maybe just done like a red background or something basic. But they decided to go the more Jack Kirby route and add the lighter colored details in the background. So of course our focus is here, but we still see detail. That's these are the type of comics that I grew up with and stuff that I miss. Now going back to the dialogue. Millions of dead. I hear them screaming. Before I even returned to Earth, I could hear them in my mind. Before I saw the smoke blanketing California, I knew something had happened. I heard them screaming, avenge me, avenge me, avenge me. Are you afraid to attack me? I wouldn't dirty myself on you, monster. Every drop of hate in me screams, do it. Blow him apart with the ring. But the sucker's yellow. He's yellow. And that means my ring can't hurt him. Except by pumping my hatred into power. Now, that is some thick drama right there. Now, for those of you that may be new to comics, back before the Jeff Johns days, before Green Lantern Rebirth, all Green Lanterns were weak or susceptible to the color yellow. They always just called it a yellow impurity that was in the rings. But after Kyle Rayner brings Hal Jordan back from the dead, You come to find out that Sinestro had added parallax into the central power battery, or at least to Jordan's ring, and which started to slowly make him fear. And that's why how Jeff Johns was able to talk about why Hal originally had white streaks in his hair, why again they were susceptible to yellow, because once they exercised parallax, the Green Lanterns are basically unstoppable now. There is no impurities left in their rings. Except for Alan Scott, his is still wood, apparently, which I always thought was weird. But anyway, back to the drama. I just wanted to put some context here for those that are newer to comics. Now Hal is ready to smash Mongul with the engine of the heart, the engine of the city. He goes, after you've, what does he say? What will Superman do with his dying breath after you've killed him by releasing the kryptonite that powers this engine? Superman. 1,000,000 dead scream to me, but if one came back from the dead and has a chance to live, the world can have him again. How can I risk? And because he hesitated, it gives Mongul the upper hand. And he basically tears Hal apart. He goes, no. Brain, just mud, one sound. Mongul, drowning the voices, drowning my past. How it had to be. Been trying so hard to bring back the past, old friends, old ways. Carol. Maybe this is what it brings in the heart. Maybe this is what it brings in the heart of dead Coast City. No past but Mongul's laugh. No future but Mongul's fist. No. Not yet. And then we finally see Hal say, I'm just buying yourself a load of big trouble. And the way he just goes to town with Mongul, with John Henry's sledgehammer, oh, it is a sight to behold, my friends. I do not want to spoil it, but we just see the power of the Green Lantern and the willpower of Hal Jordan. Now, the part about this book that irks my gurk is they basically slammed these two books together, this and Superman 82. So the little bit of fallout that we see here is in Superman 82. I wish that they would have released these apart so that the things aren't, what do you call it, that aren't crammed together, because it kind of gives some spoilers in this book as you go in to read 82, but 82 expounds on what we're seeing in these pages. Now, with all that said, this is an excellent issue, and we see the hurt of Hal Jordan and his love for his friend, Superman. But I hate here at the end, they kind of rushed what we're going to be seeing in Superman 82. And now just remember, Coast City was completely annihilated. So spoilers here towards the end. So if you don't want that, pause this video, go read the series and come back, and you're back. There's no real moment for Hal and Clark, like no embrace, no handshake. Basically, Clark says, now it's time to go home. And Hal says, you deserve a break. We'll mop up here and take care of the Eradicator and incarcerate Mongul. When I read this, it rubbed me the wrong way in this regard. Superman has been coalescing for a year. Busted his half-powered ass to come back and stop Mongul and the cyborg Superman. Hal just flew in from a space mission, got his leg and arm ripped up, and he's telling Superman, you deserve a break while we mop up. Hal needs a moment. He just lost everyone he loves. I don't feel like this was handled well at the end. They should have... Clark, this is how I imagine it in my head canon. Clark, being Clark, would have put his hand on Hal's shoulder and said, my friend, you just lost a big chunk of your life. I will take care of this. And then, of course, Hal being Hal would have said something like, let's do it together. And they would have shook hands. Just something to that degree. But Superman just flies off, and then so it goes. The cosmic give and take. A Superman restored, a Superman transformed. A city lost, friends, familiar places. Part of the anger, pain wants to wash out, to use the ring, to bring it all back. And what's left of me? Not the memories, not the past, just a man. So it's great writing in that regard. And there's a relatively nice moment with him and Carol. But what I hate is, okay, Carol Ferris grew up in Coast City just like Hal did. They just lost everyone that they love and knew in Coast City. Hal lost his brother, his sister-in-law, his nephews. And she goes, well, we have an emergency. Green Arrow and Pieface have been kidnapped, and it's because of me. I get it. Gerard wanted to go on with his next part of his series, which the next issue is fun, but I hate that we get this heartbreaking, tragic moment of Hal Jordan returning to Earth, seeing his home city annihilated, genocide. And then we're going into a search and rescue mission for the next issue. And then after that, they switched writers and we got into Emerald Twilight, which is the fallout of what happened to Hal with this, to kind of show, I guess, what was boiling under the surface. But I just feel like at this particular junction, I love what the writer was trying to do. And I'm sure that he was a little umped that he had to stop his arc to jump into this. Okay, I get. But it just rubs me the wrong way. I just feel like it was a little rushed. Especially just this one weird knockoff one issue before we got the Emerald Twilight. They should have let that linger out a little bit more and started to see Hal slowly build up. But from what I understand, the reason that they got rid of Hal in the real world wise was because his popularity was slipping and they wanted to do something to shake up the status quo, like the death of Superman, the Nightfall, and of course Green Lantern, which is why we got Kyle Rayner. So I can't complain too much. But in hindsight, it's like, man, they really should have handled this part different. What do y'all think? And with that, this is an excellent issue overall. I love seeing the willpower, but yet the, what do you call it? The vulnerable side of Hal Jordan in this issue. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and grab this series. And if you've enjoyed this review, I really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the channel more than you could possibly know. And if you don't mind hitting that fancy little lantern bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel. And I love talking with you all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below or the socials, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading and happy hunting, everyone.